Stacey Silva and Florian Sukic have joined Darcey Silva and Georgi Rusev for an epic anniversary party in Bulgaria, but Georgi has grown increasingly frustrated with his wife's antics. On the September 21st episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, the two couples reunited for the first time in weeks at a Bulgarian dance studio, where they prepared a special dance for Darcey and Georgi's upcoming wedding anniversary party. Darcey was excited to have her twin sister join her in Bulgaria for the big day, explaining to cameras, "My sister's never missed a big moment in my life." But Stacey was more concerned about her twins' relationship. "I want to show Darcey my love and support because I just feel like a lot of times I don't think it's fair the way Georgi treats my sister," she said in a confessional. Stacey wasted no time holding Georgi's feet to the fire after greetings were said and done. First, she pressed him about if he was enjoying their vacation, which he claimed to be enjoying. "Everything's good?" "Because I kind of heard there's been some ups and downs," Stacey asked, to which Georgi said, "Well, we know wherever your sister is, there's some drama." That answer did not sit well with Stacey, as she admitted that Darcey may not always be easy to live with, but she still felt worried for her sister. Georgi, however, was more concerned about what Stacey might do at the wedding. "Hopefully Stacey is on her best behavior," he said in a confessional, as Darcey insisted there would be no twin drama between her and her sister. The next day, it was time to party. Darcey even had Stacey bring all of their wedding attire, including Georgi's tuxedo and her busty wedding dress, to Bulgaria. However, Georgi was not thrilled with Darcey's outfit choice, once again. "It doesn't make me feel very comfortable," he said in a confessional. She had all this time to figure out what to wear. What is she expecting? Ultimately, Georgi opted to give up this argument instead. So the two couples then ventured to the venue, which left Darcey impressed. "Wow! Your mom and dad went all out," she exclaimed as their car pulled up to the curb. Entering the party, Darcey was most concerned about having to meet the rest of Georgi's family. "That's a lot of pressure for me," she explained in a confessional, "because to feel accepted into their family is the most beautiful feeling, and I just want to make sure that everybody loves me." So after taking part in several more Bulgarian traditions, it was game time for Darcey. First, she exchanged some hugs with Georgi's parents, who were thrilled with the turnout. Darcey then made her way around the room, with a wine glass in hand, and met each and every person who attended the gathering. Meanwhile, Georgi was very affectionate toward his wife all evening long, something both Stacey and Florian were not used to seeing. "It's nice to see Darcey and Georgi let loose and have fun," Stacey said. "I feel like this is how they should be all the time," added Florian. "This was the first time I've seen Georgi giving attention to her and having fun with her," he explained, noting that both Darcey and Georgi were acting like it was the first day they met. But the longer the night went, the drunker Darcey got. Georgi admitted that Bulgarian parties usually have a lot of drinks, but suggested that Darcey enjoyed his family's wine a little bit too much. Even Stacey and Florian noticed that Darcey was getting tipsy. But Darcey did not seem to care, stating, "Hey, I'd rather be me," while slurring her words. Eventually, the party came to an end. Stacey helped carry the train of Darcey's dress as her sister stumbled across the room, gave Georgi's parents a hug goodbye and headed out the door. "I feel blessed that everybody could gather," Darcey said in a confessional. "It's a memory to cherish for a lifetime," added Georgi. "I love these moments when you get together with the family. They're very meaningful and recharging. That's what I was missing for the last 13 years. But things quickly spiraled once the two couples hopped in their car to go home. Darcey began feeling unwell, and soon found herself vomiting out the car door. "I've never seen you throw up like this before," Stacey said while holding her sister's hair. Meanwhile, Georgi cracked some jokes at his wife's expense. Both Darcey and Stacey asked Georgi to stop, but he simply laughed off the request. In a confessional, Stacey expressed her displeasure with Georgi's response, suggesting he should have been more focused on caring for his wife. He should be there supporting her, loving her, not making jabs, she explained. She then turned to Florian and said, "You would never let me do that. I mean, you would at least hold my hair." Still, Georgi continued to joke around even as they pulled away from the venue. "Somebody want to poison the queen? Where's the rat?" he quipped, to which Darcey replied, "You're the rat. You tried to poison me." Darcey continued heaving in the car, which left Georgi grossed out. "Ew," he whined as his wife gagged before she mustered enough energy to tell him shut the F up. Today, we're talking about one of the most shocking moments this season, Matt finding out he's going to be a father to a baby girl. What should have been a heartwarming moment has instead ignited outrage among fans, with many calling Matt horrific. During the recent episode, the big reveal came during a routine doctor's appointment. Cameras captured the moment perfectly. The nurse announced, "It's a girl." For most parents, this would be pure joy. But Matt's reaction was completely different. He rolled his eyes, muttered under his breath, and admitted on camera that he was hoping for a boy. He even said he felt unprepared for raising a daughter and worried about the drama he thought would come with it. Fans immediately took to social media to express their anger. Tweets, Instagram posts, Reddit threads, and TikTok videos exploded with reactions. One fan wrote, "Matt is horrific. How can you say that about your unborn child on national TV?" Another said, "This poor baby girl is going to grow up and see this someday. Imagine hearing your dad reject you before you're even born." Yet another added, "I've defended Matt before, but this is the final straw. He doesn't deserve this sweet baby or his partner." The backlash isn't just about this single moment. Viewers have noticed a pattern in Matt's behavior. Fans say he often puts his own needs above his partner's, and now with a baby on the way, this selfishness seems more glaring than ever. Millions watch 90 Day Fiancé, and Matt's comments have been seen as sending the wrong message about gender and parenting. Entire Reddit threads have erupted with discussions titled "Matt is the worst dad already" and "This poor baby girl." Instagram is flooded with memes mocking Matt, like one captioned, "When you realize karma gave you a daughter so you can finally learn respect for women." Even experts are weighing in. A family psychologist told Reality TV Insider, "A child's gender should never determine a parent's love or involvement." Matt's reaction reveals deeper issues about his readiness to be a father. Another expert added, "Children pick up on their parents' attitudes very early. If Matt doesn't change his mindset, his daughter may feel unwanted before she even takes her first steps." So here's where we stand. Matt has revealed he's going to have a daughter, but instead of celebrating, he's left fans angry, disappointed, and ready to cancel him completely. As the episode aired, viewers couldn't stop talking about Matt's reaction. The backlash continued to grow, with fans dissecting every second of his behavior. Clips from the episode were shared repeatedly across social media platforms, sparking heated debates. Many viewers expressed disbelief that someone could respond so negatively to the news of expecting a daughter. Matt's partner, on the other hand, had a very different reaction. She appeared visibly shocked and hurt by his comments. Tears filled her eyes, and she struggled to hide her disappointment. Fans immediately sympathized with her, flooding comment sections with messages of support. Some even said they could not understand how Matt could fail to show basic excitement or care during such a pivotal moment. Meanwhile, fan communities began analyzing Matt's past behavior on the show. They pointed to earlier episodes where he displayed impatience, frustration, and dismissiveness toward his partner's feelings. Many believe that his reaction to the baby news is part of a pattern of selfishness and emotional immaturity. "Wanted a boy" over a song with the lyrics "You Can't Stop Me Now," mocking the contrast between his attitude and the joy fans expected. On Instagram, fans shared heartfelt posts defending the unborn child, urging Matt to reconsider his approach. Experts in parenting and family dynamics also weighed in. A child development specialist emphasized the importance of showing unconditional support to a child from the very beginning. She noted that negative reactions at birth, or even before, can leave a lasting emotional impact on children. Another expert stressed that expecting fathers often need guidance on how to process their own fears or expectations, and Matt's comments may reflect deeper anxieties rather than malice. Despite this, many fans are not buying the excuse of nervousness or shock. They argue that Matt had a responsibility to respond with care and love, and his failure to do so makes him horrific in the eyes of viewers. Comment sections across Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter are full of people stating that his reaction is unacceptable, especially given the public nature of the show and the influence it has on audiences. The controversy has also sparked broader conversations about gender bias. Some fans pointed out that Matt's disappointment seemed tied to societal expectations of sons and daughters, and the notion that raising a girl is more complicated or less desirable. These discussions have gained traction, with the producers of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, have remained mostly silent, letting the drama unfold on its own. However, some insiders hint that upcoming episodes may address the fallout from Matt's reaction, giving viewers a deeper look at how the couple navigates this challenging moment. Will Matt learn from his mistakes? Will he adjust his attitude and embrace fatherhood fully? Fans are eagerly waiting for answers. The social media storm surrounding Matt's reaction shows no signs of slowing down. Fans have taken to every platform imaginable to voice their frustration, dissect his words, and create content that keeps the discussion trending. From TikTok skits to viral Twitter threads, Matt has become the center of one of the most intense fan debates of the season. One of the most popular viral clips features the moment he says, "I wanted a boy," overlaid with dramatic music. It has been shared millions of times, with captions mocking his lack of excitement and highlighting the contrast with his partner's emotional response. On Reddit, entire threads are dedicated to analyzing his every facial expression and word choice, with titles like "Matt's reaction is unforgivable" and "This could have been a beautiful moment." Fans are not just criticizing Matt, they're also speculating about the long-term effects this could have on his relationship and the baby. Some argue that if Matt doesn't change his attitude, the tension could affect the couple's dynamic and even influence future episodes. Others are discussing the broader implications of reality TV exposing such intimate family moments, pointing out that millions of viewers are now witnessing a conflict that might otherwise have been private. TikTok creators have been particularly creative, making humorous but pointed content that highlights how Matt's comments clash with the expectations of a caring parent. One video juxtaposes Matt's words with clips of famous heartwarming father-daughter moments from movies, emphasizing the disconnect. Instagram users are similarly vocal, posting images of baby girls with captions like "She deserves a dad who is excited to see her grow" and tagging Matt's official profiles to make their opinions heard. Experts continue to weigh in. A family therapist said, "Reality TV often amplifies behaviors that might otherwise go unnoticed." In Matt's case, his reaction is now a public example of what not to do as a parent. Another specialist noted that the feedback from fans, while harsh, could serve as a wake-up call for Matt. Public scrutiny can sometimes push individuals to reflect on their behavior and make necessary. The latest episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, featured a family argument that made viewers uneasy. Julia was ready to discuss their upcoming European vacation with Brandon when she sat down to speak with both of her parents and Brandon, but what she revealed was a far cry from any plans for a typical holiday. Her idea to sell her flat in Russia, rather than opt for a leisurely vacation, financially as well as philosophically, caught all of them off guard with several cultural, financial, and emotional implications. The plan was offered as a way to put her marriage first and show that she was devoted and trustworthy, but revealing a decision so life-changing opened the floodgates to family castigation, doubts, and questions. As the conversation continued, Brandon, attempting to follow along despite language limitations, watched. Her parents' worries about responsibility, timing, and financial stability brought to light cultural and generational viewpoints on future planning. And what started as a simple conversation on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, turned into a negotiation about freedom, faith, and perspective. By the end of it, fans were freaking out over how the family, but especially Julia and Brandon's relationship, would handle such impetuousness with promisingly unforeseeable outcomes. On this week's episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Julia had an honest conversation with her parents about her plans for the future. Julia initiated the dialogue by telling her parents and Brandon that their trip to Europe would not simply be a holiday, it was about visiting different places and living disconnected from everyday life. She explained she planned to sell her Russian flat to fund the trip, as it was all she could think of doing. Julia framed the decision as a gesture of commitment to her husband and as a sign that giving up on her plan B was an act of faith in Brandon and their relationship. Language barriers, on the other hand, made it difficult for Brandon to completely comprehend the discussion on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Julia explained her motivation, saying that she wanted to demonstrate her commitment to their life together, even though it's normal in Russia to keep a secondary house as a backup. The conversation went well beyond a straightforward vacation plan as it demonstrated the intersection of personal, cultural, and financial factors. Julia's parents expressed their reservations right away when she presented her plans. Her father was concerned about the financial dangers and wondered if Julia would be left without a safety net in the event that things with Brandon didn't work out, if the flat was sold. Fearing a lack of preparation and foresight, her mother voiced concern about how rapidly they might spend the money from the sale, once they get hold of it. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Brandon was taken aback by the cultural and economic expectations at play, as he watched in silence for the majority of the discussion. He continuously questioned Julia about the ramifications of abandoning her fallback strategy, which led her to describe how living with her parents had introduced him to their everyday hardships and viewpoints. The discussion proceeded with a mixture of confusion, concern, and cautious admiration. Julia tried to close the gap between everyone's viewpoints, bringing attention to the difficulties couples encounter when combining families, finances, and future plans, while Brandon processed the unexpected details, and Julia's parents continued to be protective. To find out what happens next in Julia and Brandon's